Hello friend, welcome to today's video. We are going to be focusing on the muscles that make up the back line of the body, which are so important to helping us feel good in our posture throughout all of those creative projects that we love to spend hours and hours working on. This class should really help you wake up awareness through all of those back muscles and strengthen them, as well as waking up the deep core, which is not the superficial core, but the little muscles all throughout that make up the deep core that really work to support us, that sometimes get put out of commission when we're sitting around all day. This is your time to take care of yourself, take care of your body, so that you can spend more hours comfortably creating your beautiful projects. I am so glad that you're here. Let's get to it. Started. We're going to start on our back. So turn to your right. So you should be laying so that your left arm is closest to the screen. And we're just going to place the feet flat on the floor. Take a moment to settle in. Exhaling any tensions from your day. Feeling the mat beneath you. And we're going to start with turning on the deep core, waking up those muscles deep within the body that help support us, that sometimes get overridden by the bigger superficial muscles. So to do that, we're going to first try to find our neutral pelvis. So you're going to tip the pelvis forward, creating more space beneath the low back, and then tip the pelvis back so that the low back is flat. And then you'll move between those, tipping the pelvis forward and back. At first, a bigger, more exaggerated motion, and then allow that motion to become a little smaller until it feels like you have found your neutral pelvis. So you'll still have a slight space between the low back. It won't be pressed flush up against the mat, but it should maybe feel just like a tiny bit of work to maintain this neutral pelvis. And don't worry about it too much. If it feels difficult, don't get in your head about it. Just what feels like neutral pelvis for you today. And now we're gonna just start by doing one exercise to wake up this deep core. So we're gonna, on your next exhale, just unweight one foot. So you're not gonna lift the leg, but you're just gonna think about exhaling and taking the weight out of the foot so it doesn't even lift off the ground. And feel what turns on in the core. You can inhale, place it down. And exhale, unweight the other foot, and try to use as little effort as possible so that those superficial muscles that are so used to working, they can kind of stay more relaxed and your deep core will start to work more. Your inhale, placing the foot down, exhaling, unweighting the other foot. And if it feels like you can definitely stay here with this exercise, super strengthening, but if you want to take it a little bit further, you can exhale and start to just lift the heel of the foot off the ground and placing it back down. So you're loading those deep core muscles a little more. So as long as you can continue to do it and feel nice and easeful through the abdomen, feel like the deep core is still working, those superficial muscles aren't straining. You can even start to lift the foot off the ground, using the exhale to lift the shin. Inhale, placing that foot down. Exhale, lifting the other shin. Inhale, placing it down. Good, and these deep core muscles are gonna help us for the rest of the postures today and hopefully the rest of your day. So go ahead and even yourself out, placing your feet down we're gonna stretch out the legs long. You can kind of shake them out a little bit. And raise the left arm over the head. You can bring the right foot back to the floor and start to press yourself over towards the right side, coming on to the right side body. And just take a little moment here to massage through the right side. So good for hydrating the body tissues, doing this self-massage. And then eventually slowly, because slow equals strength, allow yourself to lower onto the belly. You can stack the hands and place your forehead on the hands. Take a moment here to just breathe. Notice if it's easier to breathe into the back of the lungs. And then place the hands to the side next to the shoulders. And we're going to take a modified Shalabhasana. This will be really good for waking up the muscles that make up the back line of the body, which are so important for our posture, and we're sitting and working on our projects. So go ahead and try to find that neutral pelvis again. It's a little tricky on the belly, so tipping the pelvis forward and back. It'll be a little bit harder probably to maintain that neutral pelvis here on the belly. But when you feel like you have it, don't worry about it too much. We're going to unweight that right leg, but first just feel nice and long through the spine. Almost feel like those right toes are reaching towards the back of the room. Feel length through the whole body, and exhale, start to unweight that right leg. And almost feel like the whole torso unweights as well, lengthening and strengthening. Inhale, release. And we're going to do the same thing with the other leg. So feeling length, pointing the leg towards the back of the room and the head towards the front of the room. Feeling super long, and then exhaling, letting that length help to lift and strengthen through the whole back line of the body. So all the way from the heel to the crown of the head. Exhale, place that down. And go ahead and do one more on each side, exhaling to lengthen and lift. You can even start to unweight the torso, placing it down. Other side, exhaling to lengthen and lift. And releasing. Go ahead and press back onto that side body. Take another second to roll it out there. And then coming back onto the back. Take a breath. And we'll reach the right arm overhead, press into the left leg, over onto that side body. We'll roll a little bit through this side, massaging that fascia, hydrating the body tissue. Make sure to drink water after this to help with that process. And then eventually and slowly coming on to the belly. You can bring the hands back again to next to the shoulders, and we'll do this one more time. Exhaling to lengthen and lift one leg. Inhaling and exhaling to lengthen and lift the other leg, feeling how it might almost feel natural to want to unweight the torso. And if you want to, you can go ahead and try lengthening and lifting through the whole body. And make sure you don't feel any strain through the back. It should feel easeful. So listen to your body. If it feels good to lengthen and lift through the whole body, bringing even the chest off the ground a little bit. Might be nice to stay in this position. You can even unweight the hands here, sway back and forth. You can bend the knees if that feels good. A swimming Shalabhasana, move the arms. Again, make sure you don't feel any strain through the back or the neck. Making sure the neck stays in line with the rest of the spine. And eventually releasing all of that back into the ground. Reaching the arm again overhead, pressing onto the side body, massaging it out. And rolling back onto the back. Taking a moment here to notice any sensations in the body. And then we're going to roll up to seated, but if that doesn't feel good in your body, just come up to seated, the best way for you. So you can grab onto the shins or behind the knees, on the backs of the thighs, and swing the feet up towards the head and back down, allowing that momentum to roll you up. And you can do that a few times, massaging through the back. Eventually coming up to seated, and make sure your right leg is in front. Place the left arm behind you, press into the feet, into the hand, and whoop, turn on to tabletop. Or just come up into tabletop in whatever transition feels good for you. Okay, take a moment here in tabletop, pawing out the hands, allowing a natural arch to maintain in the hands. So I like to do a little like karate chop and then placing the hands down, noticing that natural arch that's there. So most of the weight is in the pinky side and fleshy parts of the hand. You can bounce through the elbows, make sure you're not locking out. And again, we'll take one moment here to tip the pelvis back and forward a couple times, making those movements smaller to eventually find something that feels like a neutral pelvis. So just a slight amount of work through the deep core to maintain nice and long from the crown through the tailbone. And then from here, you can curl the toes under. Try to maintain that neutral pelvis as you exhale. Lift the knees and the hips, pressing back into downward dog with generous bend through the knees. You can kind of paw out the feet here, wagging the tail, making sure to be light through the elbows, through the neck, no strain. And then start to wag the tail, and as you wag, feel how the weight comes out of one hand and then the other, and start to walk the hands back towards the feet. Coming into a forward fold, generous knee bend. You can shake the head gently here, allowing yourself to relax over the thighs. And then starting with a generous bend in the knees, start to roll up. Slowly articulating through the spine. Coming into Tadasana, feeling the feet on the ground. Take a moment to even find neutral pelvis here, tilting back and forth until you find somewhere that feels long and strong. And then start to swing the arms gently. And as the right arm swings forward, we're gonna step forward with the left leg. And you can come back and we're gonna do that a couple times until you find a stance that feels comfortable. And this will be coming into Warrior One. And coming into it this way, you should be in a good natural position for your body, but just make sure that you feel supported. Sometimes I like to walk the front foot wider a little bit, giving myself a wider stance is sometimes more supportive. Back toes should be mostly pointed forward. Again, check in with the pelvis. Feeling somewhere that feels like neutral helps you be long and strong through the spine. You can take a moment here. You can lift the arms, you can come into cactus arms, whatever feels good. Feeling strength all the way from the heel, the back of the leg, the back of the body, all the way through the crown of the head. Equal weight in both feet. And then you can bend through the back knee and maintain a slight bend through the front knee as you begin to fold over that front leg. Again, you can have a slight bend or generous bend through that front leg, wag through that tail. You can place the hands on the thigh or the floor, or even some blocks might be nice. Wagging the tail, lengthening. We're lengthening the back body in this pose. And then we're gonna roll up. So feel how the strength all the way through the whole back of the body, the heel through the crown of the head, helps you roll up, pulling the back body, knitting it together, coming back into this full Warrior One position. Again, noticing the strength it takes to make sure that pelvis isn't tipped too far back, which is really easy to do here. Pulling it into neutral. Long and strong. You can even tip back slightly if that feels good into a slight back bend. And we're gonna move a couple times between these two. So bending forward over that front leg, wagging the tail. And then rolling, strengthening through the back body, rolling up into that Warrior One, slight back bend if that feels good. Hinging forward. You can sync this with your breath in whatever way feels good. Inhale or exhale for each posture. Rolling back up one more time into that Warrior One. And then from here, we're going to bring the hands all the way down to the inside of the foot. You can step back a little bit. You might want to step back a little bit, giving yourself more space with that knee. You can place the knee on the ground, whatever feels good. And we're gonna plant the hand that's closest to the screen here. And on an exhale, open towards the front leg. Countering our poses with a twist. You can stay there, or you can do a couple opening and closing that twist. So bringing the heart down and then opening the heart towards that front knee. And then eventually place that hand back on the ground. Bring the back knee back to meet bring the front knee back to meet the back knee. And we're back in our tabletop. You can take a moment here in child's pose, resting. And then come back into tabletop and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and since you already know what's coming, try to really sink into your body here, noticing what feels good to you. Feel free to make any modifications, tilting the pelvis again to find neutral, somewhere that feels long and strong through the spine. Tucking the back toes under, lifting the knees with an exhale, sending the hips towards the sky. Generous bend through the knees as we wag the tail. And use that wagging to help you walk the hands back towards the feet. Coming into a forward fold. You can swing the torso a little bit here gently. And then tip the pelvis, start to roll up slowly, massaging through the spine. You can even allow the momentum to bring the arms all the way overhead if that feels good. And then back down. We'll again swing the arms. This time we'll be stepping forward with the other foot, the right foot. And step forward and back a couple times until you find somewhere that feels nice and supported for you. You can tilt the pelvis if you need to find that neutral pelvis again. Make sure that this stance feels good for you. Back toes pointed mostly forward, even weight in both feet. And then we'll start to hinge over that front leg, lengthening through the back side of the body. You can wag the tail here, placing hands on the thigh, the calf, the floor, or blocks. Wagging the tail back and forth. And then feeling the back body pull and strengthen together, roll up. Feeling that strength from the heel through the crown of the head, maintaining, pulling the pelvis back into neutral, and coming back into this full warrior one pose. And again, at your own pace, you can move between these two, forward fold, wagging the tail, rolling back up. Slight back bend if that feels good. But making sure to really sink into your body now as you move and flow between these two. See how graceful you can move, how good it can feel. Focus more on the sensations in your own body than how you think the posture might look from the outside. Always make any adjustments, modify, whatever you need. This is your time to take care of yourself. And then next time you roll up into warrior one, we'll meet here. And we're gonna bring the hands all the way down to the inside of that front foot, stepping back a little more with that back leg out with the front. If you need to, you can place that back knee on the ground if that feels good. And then planting the left hand, opening towards the front knee, twisting all the way through, allowing the neck to follow but not straining through the neck. And if it feels good, you can turn the heart back down and then open it back up, flowing between those two, or you can stay in the twist. Eventually bringing the hand down next to the other one, Bringing the front knee back. Sitting back on the heels and hinging over the heels into a restful child's pose. You can massage the forehead on the ground if that feels good, or if that doesn't feel good, you can place the hands under the forehead and massage, or even stacking the fists on top of each other, doing it that way. Whatever feels good in your body. And if this posture doesn't feel good, if this is not a restful posture, then find a posture that feels good, feels like you can release tension from your body. Even if that's going all the way back onto the back, that's a really good restful posture. And whatever posture you choose to rest in, take a moment to breathe, notice any new sensations in the body, and cultivate some gratitude for yourself. Say thank you to yourself for taking this time to really nurture your body, this house for your beautiful soul. And you are welcome to stay in your restful posture for as long as you are able, as long as your time allows. I don't want to ever stop you from taking the time you need to rest, so feel free to do that. Pause this if you need to, so another video doesn't pop up on YouTube and ruin your rest. But thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you feel a lot more, notice if you feel any more awareness through your pelvis, through the whole back line of the body. Those muscles are so important for having good posture, feeling good, you know, when we're sitting a lot all day or even standing, and just those muscles help so much to support us while we're doing all of the fun, creative things that we love to do. So I hope you have a beautiful, restful rest of your day, and good luck on all of your creative endeavors, my friend. Namaste.